quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, 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 bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, 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 bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre segundo. Cuando te enamoras, si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. 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 Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. Bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. 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 Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. soplar por un segundo. Cuando te enamoras, si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si vamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. 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 Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. Bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. 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 Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte segundo. Cuando te enamoras, si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. 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 Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. Bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. 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 Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. La vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, 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 bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, 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 bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el segundo. Cuando te enamoras, si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz contigo.
Can everyone hear me okay? Brilliant. Everyone, thank you for coming down on this warm, humid Tuesday night. It's very British to moan about the weather when it's actually nice, but thank you for coming down rather than sunning in the garden or playing in the paddling pool. The crypto and blockchain industry, as you know, has been keeping us all on our toes. Day in, week in, lots of things happen. So, as the Crypto Investor Show, what we're trying to do, essentially, is cater to people that have questions, to investors. You know, there's so many things that are happening, both the technology, I probably shouldn't stand right in front of the presentation, both in terms of the presentation, the technology, and also in terms of opportunities that are happening for investors. If you've invested in a traditional landscape, you'll find there are similarities, but then complete differences. Whether you're a short-term trader or a long-term investor, whether you believe in the tech or whether you're trying to suss out the tech. So we launched the Crypto Investor Show in March at the QE2 Centre, just around the corner from here, actually. So I'm going to do a quick show of hands to see who actually made it in March. Okay, great. I'm going to ask who got caught up in the queues outside. I'm sorry. So we knew when we first came up with the idea of the Crypto Investor Show that there was a market that wasn't really being looked after. And as myself, working in the industry for many years and an investor myself, I felt it was the right thing to do. So we launched the event. What we didn't expect were 1,000 more people than had bought tickets to arrive on the day, and everyone at 9:30, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. So if you're in the queue, I hope you were looked after, and I hope you had a good time when you were in. And just want everyone to know that we're working on all these things so that our next events, these included, and bigger events, are just going to be a much more well-oiled machine. So we think it's really important to put on events that look after investors and at the same time champion the sector. So what we want to do is, we're believers in the tech, we're believers in the efficiency of cryptocurrencies. Why have all these middlemen just taking a cut and making it more difficult for all of us, right? So as part of what we try to do is at the same time as looking after investors as champion the sector, and we're trying our best to become an authoritative voice both in the UK, London and beyond. So yes, London. We had over 4,000 attendees, 90 speakers over 3 stages, 80 exhibitors, and quickly became one of the largest events of its kind. Here are some of the main topics we covered, and obviously I don't expect you to read everything on this particular presentation, but again, we're looking at the future of money, we're looking at the evolution of blockchain. What are the options for a crypto investor? Governance and regulation. Wow, I mean, you could talk for days, weeks and months on what could possibly happen there. And the most interesting thing is that no one, even in the sector, that no one actually knows. So if they tell you that they know, then I'll be a bit wary, because no one knows. We're all trying to define ourselves, and the industry will get there in time. If you didn't come to the show, or if you did come to the show in March, all of the content is on YouTube. Every talk, every presentation, one of the things actually we had good feedback on was the fact that we recorded the presentations themselves, so we could watch them back. So everything's on there. I don't expect you to watch it all, but if you wanted to catch up with things, that's where to find it. And in terms of our future events, the plan for these shows, little events here, are to do 3 or 4 over the summer in preparation for our big show in November. We're in Manchester. We're really excited to take the show up north. We we believe also that it's going to be a great experience to take an event such as the Crypto Investor Show up north for the first time. So we're expecting a similar vibe to London, a mix of investors, institutions, private investors, retail traders, who are all trying to find their way in the space at the same time. If you're in our Telegram group, brilliant, asking questions. If you're not, we'll be sure to make sure you know how to get on there. But the important thing is, if you want to learn, be a part of the community and let us know what you think. So we're in Manchester in November 9th and 10th, and in London again in March of next year. As well as these smaller events in the evenings, we're doing more and more talks and workshops to cater for institutional investors. And of course, what they do will affect us all. When they do arrive in the shape and what form, we don't know, but their actions will shape the industry and validate the industry as they arrive. We're also launching a crypto village. So again, this is part of our champion in the sector job we're trying to do. So we thought, okay, we're going to have a few thousand people in a venue at the same time. Is there anyone here that doesn't own crypto at the moment? So, so everyone, most people, of course, own crypto. So why not give them an opportunity to actually use it in a live environment? So the crypto village is essentially going to be a small retail street of retailers with a range of exclusive options, be it in the luxury sector, be it crypto focus. Hoping to have someone there as a barber. So if you want to save your haircut and get a Bitcoin cut, you're welcome to do so. But the point is, once you start using cryptocurrencies, once you start using it, actually using it, it becomes even more addictive. And I use addictive in a careful sense, in that I liken cryptocurrencies, when done correctly from a user perspective, as a business or as an individual, obviously to any big technology step. And another question for everyone: who here today has used a contactless card? So for me, the biggest thing that I've noticed as a business, as soon as I moved from taking some crypto payments, it just felt right. It just felt like moving to contactless card. Everything happens right away. There's no fees. I'm not waiting 3 days. So we want to kind of give that environment in the village itself. We're also going to be launching a Genius Bar, which we hope to do actually in London in March, where some of our speakers, some of our experts will be available for 15-minute slots to talk about whether it's mining, whether it's how to look after your wallet, whether it's a hard storage, cold storage. We're going to have little experts for every little thing, and you can book in advance and get a little spot to actually talk to someone one-on-one, because I think that's also quite important. So, thank you again for coming in the heat and waiting the half an hour while we kind of wait for people to arrive. I'm going to introduce you to our first speaker. His name is Josh Riddett. He's from Easy Crypto Hunter, and he's going to talk to you about mining, the myths of mining and the opportunity. So I'm going to ask Josh to come up now and get a round of applause for Josh. That'd be wonderful.
That's great, thank you. Good evening, guys. Is everyone hear me okay on the lapel? Is that good? Awesome. Cool. Thanks for being here tonight. Just want to echo Patrick's thoughts, really, particularly within the mining space. A lot of you will probably have some misconceptions, some things that you think may be true, may not be true. That's kind of what we want to go through tonight, and just kind of help you understand where all this comes from, because a lot of us are traders, investors, hodlers, whatever it may be, but really few people truly understand where all the crypto comes from, how it's made, and really that gives you a very good solid base to help you in whatever you do, whether you're interested in mining or not. We just want to try to help you as best we can. So money-making machines is all too good to be true. Well, you're soon going to find out. So this is kind of what we've got for you today. So who the heck are we? Who's this bloke in a daft shirt on stage? And why has he come from Manchester to talk to you? Mining myths debunked, because you've probably got a lot of misconceptions, preconceptions as to what does or doesn't exist. And then what the heck are the opportunities that we're going to have to be able to go through that? Have you still got me? Good? Okay. So who we are. So this is me, and this is a company that we kind of set up. So I ultimately wanted to get into mining. I thought, you know, I came across these crazy machines on the internet, as I'm sure a lot of you guys did. Who doesn't want a money-making machine, right? It sounds too good to be true. It's totally crazy. But crypto offers some pretty bizarre opportunities, and that's kind of what we're able to do. So the big thing for me was at that time when we got into this and when we founded the company, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of companies that are slightly disingenuous, a lot of companies where this intangible world of crypto had no physical tangible space. You could not go to a shop and see someone building a mining rig. You could not go and speak with people who made this stuff and who did it on a regular basis. So for me, I was really passionate about just creating an honest, open dialogue, because I want people to get into this space, and in order for that to happen, obviously people need to be able to feel it, see it, and trust it. So that's kind of where we came from. So now we have our own farm in Manchester, and we're now one of the largest UK providers of hardware, both in the UK and overseas. So this is kind of what we do in a nutshell. We sell individual rigs, we do the larger scale farm installations, and the video, hopefully, you get the idea. It's cool. So basically, yes, we were at the other crypto show in London with Patrick not too long ago, and we've also opened up a big OTC desk as well. So for those of you that don't know what that term is, OTC refers to over-the-counter. So interestingly, a lot of you look at CoinMarketCap quite regularly, and you'll see, oh, there's money going in the market, money leaving the market. What a lot of people don't realize is the vast majority of Bitcoin is traded over the counter. That money does not touch an exchange. So we're able to facilitate between 100,000 and 25 million per day, and none of you guys will know about it. So there's a lot more going on in this space than people realize, and that's another service that we span out now to be able to offer. So this is kind of all the boring stuff. So before my lawyer kind of kicks me off stage, I just need to give you a quick little overview. Obviously, you all know this is crypto. We're very transparent with the numbers in this presentation. Obviously, you do need to take those with a pinch of salt, because things change like lightning in this industry. But they were certainly true at the time we put this presentation together, which was very recently. So I'm sure a lot of you, it was really interesting. I think this is the first room I've ever been in when Patrick asked who's got crypto. There wasn't a single hand that didn't. That's the most exciting thing in the world for me, so it's great to be talking to you. So I'm sure this is really common sense to a lot of you. But some people don't really understand what the mining rigs do. In a nutshell, it's a twofold process. One, it basically processes the transaction. So if I was to send some Ethereum to you, for example, the machines process that transaction and verify it to make sure it's correct. And in the second phase, they basically continue to mine the blocks of the coins, which is where obviously the new coins are released, which is how the miners get paid, and obviously how the new coins are created. So it's a dual phase process, and obviously updating the public ledger. So you're basically, in a nutshell, using posh computer power to provide to a network, and as a thank you, you get rewarded with a little bit of coin. Dead simple. So this is kind of the mining myth-busting that we wanted to get to. So these are a few of the kind of questions that some people have that think sometimes it can be a bit too scary or a bit too much for them. So it's too technical for me, Josh. I don't understand it. I can't do it. Well, I own one of the biggest companies in this sector. I can't program for me. Not a clue. Don't know about it. Can't do code. Can't do nothing. But I can copy and paste. So if you can do that, you're going to be okay. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So the software that's out there now, you can run the machines on Windows, press start, off it goes, does its own thing. So you really don't even need to worry about a lot of the things which you did previously. Electric is my favourite question. Everyone goes, oh, we're in the UK, Josh, electric's so expensive, you can't use stuff like that here. You certainly can. So these are actually the costs of what we run at the moment. So typically the big rig on the left, the 1300 watt rig, you're looking at around 130 quid in your house, 108 pounds a month commercial. So 100 quid in electric, yeah, that's quite a bit of money, but doesn't really matter if you're making multiple times that. And that's pretty much ultimately what it comes down to. So high maintenance, you can't just have a machine on and it just runs 24 hours a day. That's madness. Well, that's exactly what these machines do. So you can remotely manage the rig from anywhere in the world. I can check my entire farm from my phone, or you can sit next to it and play with it if you want to. Totally up to you. You just don't need to put a lot of effort into these things. You turn them on, let them go, you tell it what to do, and just kind of forget about it as a passive way to help blow up the network. So that's it as well. You obviously get 12 months warranty with everything in the UK as well. So you never need to worry about stuff just falling out and falling apart the next day. So running the cards all the time constantly kills them. You're going to have loads of breakdowns and maintenance and error, and it's just not an issue again. I often let people know about this in regards to kind of how a car works. So if you have, you know, a Bitcoin Lambo, because you know we've all got those. I did actually buy my car in Bitcoin, true story. It happens. So you can, basically, if you're running a car, say in London, stop-start traffic, that's really bad for the car. The stopping and the starting, the in and the outs, and it's just not great for it. Running that car at 70 miles an hour on the motorway, not too much of an issue for it. Similarly to how these cards work, so obviously they are top-end graphics cards designed to play top-end computer games or do graphical rendering, usually in an on-off fashion. However, if you're on a constant speed, undervolt them and overclock them as we do, they work less hard than they're designed to for a consistent temperature, meaning actually they're really quite happy mining away with not too much of an issue. You should mine Ethereum. So how many people in the room, just as a quick show of hands, think that Ethereum's about the best thing to mine, or they've heard of Ethereum mining, or mining and Ethereum kind of go together? Is that something most of you would agree with? See lots of nodding faces. Well, this is kind of you know, how many mega hashes are you getting, Josh, with fancy equipment? This is always the question that we get asked. And it's really indicative of the kind of knowledge within the sector. So this is the kind of question that always gets my goat. And this is kind of what it comes down to. So this is a really interesting website called whattomine.com. Does what it says on the tin. You put in what power you've got, and it tells you what to mine. It's great. So actually, the most profitable coin at the time we put this together was a coin called Raven coin. A lot of you may or may not have heard of it, but it's vastly more profitable than mining Ethereum. So for example, Raven's doing quite nicely at the top, and Ethereum would be somewhere down here in 15th place. So what people don't realize is at the moment, the machine that we've got at the back, for example, a GPU mining rig, can mine over 700 different mineable coins. And there's a lot of ways to monetize those smaller coins in a vastly higher way than mining the big stuff that you've all heard of. Because as you know, once you've got any crypto, you can instantly change it into something else very quickly. So everything is moving to ASIC. So those of you that have a bit more knowledge about the sector, you may be familiar with the term ASIC, which is kind of the way in which you mine Bitcoin on an ASIC machine. So there's kind of two different types of machine. There's an ASIC machine, which is the best way to think about it. It's like a dumb sledgehammer, very, very good at what it does, but can't do anything else. Or a GPU machine, which are the machines we specialize in, which are kind of like the Swiss Army knife and can do anything you want them to across those types of coins. So a lot of people, Bitmain obviously being the big company in China who are producing the vast majority of these machines, are starting to try and encroach on typical GPU coins to try and set up new equipment to mine. So there's a lot of things that people don't always see in the wider profile of the market. That said, there's also coins like Raven coin, which created a new algorithm to be entirely ASIC resistant. So that runs on an algorithm called X16R. So without blowing your mind with all the boring technical stuff, there's about 20 main algorithms in the crypto mining space. The X16R algorithm takes 16 of those and randomly rotates them so that no machine can kind of single-handedly copy that. So it's a very profitable and nice coin to be mined at this point in time. A lot of people backing that quite well. So that kind of sets up, maybe answers some of your misconceptions, but what's really exciting and what I really want to get to you today is kind of, all right, Josh, all this stuff's great, but what are the opportunities? How does this work? Why is it exciting? Why would I want to be interested in this space? So these are kind of a few of the things that we're going to take you through, and hopefully this will get you kind of excited. So again, the figures, we like to be as transparent as we can. So all of these figures are based on, that could have been dangerous, are based on the last 18 months. So over the average of the last 18 months, at any given point, a single machine of the one that we have at the back is raking in about 30 quid a day on average. It's a little bit lower than that now as the market's kind of slumped since then, but on average over 18 months, that's about where you've been. So this is kind of how the machines work in general, or any mining rig in general works, just to kind of give you a breakdown of this. So you have your daily mining, so your coins coming in every day. You have the asset value of the equipment that's in there. So the beauty of this stuff, and what people fail to understand, is that unlike an ASIC miner, which is very good at one thing and one thing only, a GPU miner consists of very high-end computer components that, even if Bitcoin and crypto went to zero tomorrow, are still intrinsically worth quite a lot of money indeed. So your asset is quite secure outside of the parameters of crypto, which is why it becomes quite attractive. Because in order to make a true break-even, you effectively only have to cover depreciation, not the entire cost of the equipment, which makes a vastly different proposition to your ROI. And then, of course, the crypto growth, because the coins that you're earning now, what are they going to be worth in X period of time to come? And that's kind of where it gets really exciting. So these are what the numbers look like. So we have... this is just for our company, of course. There's other companies out there too. But you're looking around these kind of numbers. So the first kind of figure is kind of what you'd get black and white ROI to cover all the cost of your equipment. The second figure is kind of your average earnings divided by the cost of if you were to sell the rig at the end of the year. So all of a sudden, you're in a position where you might get your money back within 120 days, which is ludicrously quick, as you can appreciate. And then, of course, the true ROI. So what's the value of those coins generating as they move forward? Who knows? So this is kind of where I wanted to break it down for you a little bit. So we've got everyone who's in this space, as you guys know, I hope, you shouldn't really be thinking in pounds and pence. It's all about Satoshi acquisition for the future, if you really believe in the growth of this sector. But I know people really struggle with that, so let's do it in pounds and pence anyway. So this is kind of where we're at. So in January, a single bit of kit was making you about £1,500 a month. Stupid money. That same bit of kit in April was making you about 500 quid a month. So you would think that that's now 3 times less than it was then, and actually, Josh, mining's rubbish and it's not as good anymore. Well, let's look at that. So the difference is if in January you were earning 1,500 quid, and now you're earning, say, 500, what people fail to understand is the amount of coins that you're earning is proportionally the same. It's only the market value of the money that has then changed. So if the market then retraces, you're able to kind of capture that very quickly. But even at £500 a month, which quite frankly is about the lowest we've seen in mining for the past 18 months, that's still looking around a 6% ROI per month, which is a damn sight better than pretty much a lot of other investments out there right now, which is why actually one of our biggest clients is property investors and property developers who are quite happy with 8 or 9% yield a year, and all of a sudden moving, kicking out the tenants and putting 10 rigs in a house. So that's a new thing for us. So this is kind of it in a nutshell. We have a Swiss Army knife product that can do anything. And what can we use it for? So you can either run your machine on an auto mine software. So you can press go, it will mine the most profitable coin, sell that coin, and pay you in Bitcoin. Crazy. So you just don't need to worry about it. It does it all for you. Or you can be a little bit more clever and choose to mine any individual coin in the entire mining space. You've got ultimate flexibility, over 700 coins and new coins coming out daily, which is kind of wild. And if you want to do that, these are the opportunities that you're able to kind of get. So you've got the auto mine software. You could, of course, just choose to mine today's most profitable coin and bag the value. Cool. That's one option. A lot of people like to do that. But this is where it starts to get really clever. So what if you wanted to mine teeny tiny little coins because you believed in them for the future? So we have some customers who say might mine a brand new coin the day it comes out, mine it for a week, and then swap to another small coin and mine that for a week. And then over 3 months, you've got 12 massive bags of coins. One of those hits an exchange, and it's a whole different story. Because this is where people don't realize the breadth of the market There's much more on the table here that people know. So to put that in perspective, some of my friends in the community were mining Ravencoin the first weeks it came out. Today you might be mining maybe 700-800 Ravencoin per day with a machine. When that first came out, you could probably mine 100,000 in a week. The differences are vast as the difficulty increases. So mining the new smaller coins have unlimited possibilities. Just to phrase this as well, the 6% number you saw is just the basic average of everything. It doesn't take into account all these cool Fandango ways of doing things. So another thing to do is mining pools. So what people don't realize about mining is you can have two people with exactly the same equipment, mining exactly the same coin, and get totally different returns each day. Because it all depends on where you point the mining power. So on one hand, you could have a big mining pool. So the easiest way to understand this would be, say there's 100 men in a mine shaft with a pickaxe, and they're all looking for one bit of gold. If one of the guys finds that, then they split that 100 ways. So you get very consistent payouts because there's lots of people looking for it, but they're quite small. On the other extreme, you could just send one person down the mine shaft with one pickaxe to find that same chunk. And obviously it would take him longer, but when he does, that's 100 times more money for him. So across the mining scale, you can move your difficulty to risk slider anywhere you want. There are hundreds of pools in some cases for some coins. And this is what people fail to realize. You can kind of use the same equipment in a multitude of different ways. So obviously our larger customers, once you've got a few machines, you can of course create your own mining pools and then put 10 people in your own mine. And then obviously massively increase your chances of things there, which is quite cool. So you can also mine masternode coins. So masternodes is a new thing that's kind of come out recently, proof of stake stuff. Everyone thinks that proof of stake is going to be the future. Just to kind of give you some numbers, at the time we put this together, there's around 202 masternodable coins. 176 of those were mineable. A lot of them are hybrid systems where you need both proof of stake and proof of work. It's a nice caveat to kind of put you in there. But a lot of people mine teeny tiny small coins that are masternode coins, stake them as a masternode, and then get their passive income from the masternode and then move on to the next coin and stake that as well. So there really is an awful lot to go at here, and I appreciate, I don't want to kind of blow your heads with it, but at the same time, I just wanted to give you a quick overview as to the opportunities that do exist in this space. So this is kind of a demographic of, who people that are our customers. So I appreciate you might not be able to see that at the back, but property developers, property investors probably make up over 80% of our customer base. And I believe that's inherently because of their psychology. So the psychology of a property developer would be put your asset in, you get your passive income, and you appreciate that asset will appreciate over time. It's the same with the mining rig. You buy the mining rig, you get your passive income every month, and then that capital, that crypto, appreciates over time. The difference is here, you can fit 16 in one typical house in the UK, and they don't call you at 3 in the morning because the boiler's broke. So we've had a lot of interest from that sector. Business owners, what a lot of people fail to realise is this is about the greatest product on earth at the moment, if I don't say so myself, to buy as a business. Because it's a UK registered product, you get your VAT back, so you can write off your VAT. Because it's just a posh computer, a lot of our customers are able to write that down through capital losses through their business or appreciated assets, because it's just computer equipment that's degrading over time. Individuals, retirements, inheritance. We had a customer the other week who bought a rig to kind of cover some maternity leave for his wife, which was cool. People use this for all sorts of different stuff. Crypto traders is a big one too, because I'm sure a lot of you guys in here enjoy trading. But what happens if I'm sure if any of you set up one of those trading accounts where you get so many £1,000 free and you make these crazy trades and all of a sudden you're a millionaire in a week, because it's not real money, you just kind of play with it, right? What we've seen is some of our customers do very, very well from trading because the machine spits out so much crypto all the time. People are quite adventurous with that crypto and can trade it quite aggressively. So we've seen that do really well. Farmers, we have a lot of solar, wind energy, renewable farmers. We're actually dealing with one customer at the moment who has a bio-to-waste energy facility, burns that, gets cheap electric, mines on that electric, and then uses the heat at large scale as a waste product for medical marijuana. Who knew that was a thing? So I didn't realise the UK is one of the biggest exporters of that in the UK. Who knew? I didn't even realise it was legal. But yeah, you learn something new every day, right? And then investment groups. So we're dealing with a lot of Middle Eastern investment groups, hedge fund managers, pension managers, portfolios, individual investments, because obviously other institutions are now looking at this type of stuff quite seriously. So crypto is pretty much for, as you guys know, assets, kind of passive income. And this is a really interesting question. So do you remember that £30 a day figure that I gave you as an average of the last 18 months? Let's just do a little bit of thinking just to kind of leave you on. So how much do you think a single rig would have earned if you bought one in January 2017 and kept all that crypto to January 2018? At around 30 quid a day. 365 days in a year, 30 quid a day. Anyone going to do some quick maths? About 30k, 40k. So what? This is 12 million, I wish, yeah. This is actually the number that we were able to see from a single rig last year. How did we get there? Obviously, this depends on how you use those coins, whereabouts you did them, and obviously that would vary from person to person. But fundamentally, if you were mining 30 quid a day of crypto in January, what was that worth by December? Effectively £300 a day. But you didn't realize that at the time. So, you know, for those of us that believe quite deeply in the future of the market, this is why mining becomes so attractive, because not only are you making a great percent right now today, what's that going to be worth in time to come? And whilst you're doing that, obviously every machine that exists out there strengthens the whole blockchain and makes all the payments faster, more efficient, more decentralized. So it's a case of helping people understand this in a bit more detail and also kind of being passionate about that decentralized aspect, which is really passionate to me. It's something I care about and no doubt something you guys share too. So we're going to be around all evening. And I'd just like to kind of, I think we've run over a little bit, so I won't want to take any questions now, but I will be at the back with Will, my colleagues. Are we good to take questions? Perfect, no problem. So I'd just like to open up the floor to some questions, guys, and I hope that was really helpful for you. Yeah, sure. Just stick your hands up, and I think we've got a microphone, so...
So we're recording. Oh, sorry. How much does it cost for the machine?
So we have different pricing strategies for different things. Those keen eyes of you would have seen that the one we have at the back, for example, is 10,000, but that includes VAT, so 8,333 plus VAT. We do have smaller units, and then at scale, obviously, that cost comes down quite considerably.
Yeah. So, sorry, you mentioned payback 3 months, 4 months usually, and
based on the last 18 months average, yeah.
Okay. Maybe if you can elaborate a bit more on the impact of proof of stake and for miners. Someone if we're in a universe where there's only proof of stake and someone has no coin.
Yeah. So
what
the
happens
best way to understand this proof of stake. So mining, for those of you that don't know, runs on a system called proof of work. You are basically using computer power and working that power to prove that all the transactions are real. Proof of stake, on the other hand, takes pre-existing coins and says, because these coins are real, your transactions therefore must be real too. It has some advantages, it also has some disadvantages. Advantages being it doesn't use loads of power. Disadvantages in the crypto space, there's a lot of really rubbish masternodes and a lot of really good ones too. A Dash node at the moment, which is the biggest masternode coin, will cost you $250,000. But between those two places, there's a lot of very, very good projects. And my answer is, well, people kind of ask me to sum this up quite quickly. And I guess my ultimate answer for that would be, versus this question, is if you buy a single coin or you stake a single masternode, it's effectively the same as backing one horse. Whereas if you own mining equipment, you've fundamentally bought the racetrack and you can win on any winner. That's the kind of summary, really, in a nutshell, because you can move to any coin and use best of both.
Hi, I have a question regarding to mining in UK, because obviously, if I understand correctly, the marginal cost would be electricity.
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
And with a lot of big farm now moved to Iceland and America, what do you think is there a cost advantage in UK to do the mining?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do is consult on large-scale projects.
Yeah, and also another quick question is about the government attitude on mining. Because
attitude to mining, that's a really good question, so thank you for that. So two really good points there. One, everyone boohoos the UK because electric's expensive. So firstly, yes, on a domestic level, electric in the UK is probably twice what it is in some parts of Europe. True. However, you're more bothered about the crypto acquisition, and ultimately, so say for example, if you take the £100 a month figure here for a single rig, if that was in Iceland, yeah, it would cost you £50 a month. But there's other intrinsic costs that people don't factor into that. So imagine if you had £1 million of gear, you've got to then ship it over there, you've then got to staff it, you then have to have external European insurance, you need facilities, you need staff, you need the security. All of those things are massively mitigated by being in the UK. Particularly, I mean, we don't even entertain any of our clients going overseas for less than a project of 10 million because there's so many intrinsic factors, particularly being the government in the UK. Now, I'm really fighting for this to happen. I'm working really hard in the background with some government agencies because I truly believe that with all this Brexit malarkey that's going on at the moment, I really think that when we kind of pull ourselves out of that, it's going to open up one of the biggest opportunities for the UK in crypto because our knickers are in such a twist about EU. We're just not even looking at crypto, which right now, for the next 2 years, gives us a fantastic operational space with virtually zero scrutiny. And after that point, I think the UK has always been a financial centre of the world and will continue to try to be, but I believe that will be through a crypto mechanism, or certainly that's what I'm going to try and make happen. So I think both being in the UK for regulation is brilliant. You know, you can insure these units very easily. It's a computer. You can stick them on. You know, the UK has great power, great electric. You're never worried about those intrinsic vulnerabilities that you would have in other slightly cheaper places. Maybe not Iceland. Iceland is a good place, but other places do for that. But the UK being so strong, government-wise, I think it's a great place to be.
Brilliant. Thank you, Josh.
No problem at all. Thanks very much, guys.
Right. Next up, we have Hisham Erafas from Merit Protocol. You've been lifted up, or you want to?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Can you guys hear me? Yes. Just try this. I'm sure it's on. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Patrick, for hosting us. Very excited to be part of the Crypto Investor Show. And to be in this nice building as well. So I think Patrick touched on a very important point earlier, is why we interested into crypto today, why we're interested into blockchain. I mean, there has been a lot of hype around Bitcoin. Now it's been a few years, Ethereum over the last year and a half, 2 years. And so far, really, we are yet to see like a use case, you know, a real-life application of this crypto. I mean, Bitcoin do act as a currency, you know, as a borderless currency, digital currency. Ethereum came up with the innovation of smart contracts. So smart contracts, smart money, you can program the value and program how the value moves around. And this is great. But today we are yet to give a good example as to how the blockchain, outside of being a currency, it could be beneficial to everybody. So Bitcoin, the first use case of a Bitcoin obviously is act as a currency, store value. The first use case of, and by the way, I think someone bought a pizza very early in the days for about, I don't know, 4,000 or 100,000 Bitcoin, so by now it could be quite an expensive pizza. The second use case, I mean, the use case for Ethereum is raising finance. Why people do use Ethereum blockchain? Primarily today, to do an ICO, to issue token, to raise funding. And that was the first large-scale use case of the blockchain and of the Ethereum blockchain in particular. So we at Merit, we're really working hard to provide actually, to use the blockchain technology and the tokens as something that could be useful, not just to traders, but actually to community, projects and small businesses, because the beauty of the blockchain is it actually provides you with a whole back office, you know, transaction, you don't need an accountant, storing, you don't need storage, traceability. So there's a lot of benefits that could actually anyone could leverage to their own benefits. So, and this is what we do at Merit. We're leveraging the blockchain, and we provide a token issuance platform
for anyone of any level to actually issue their own tokens. And when I say tokens, I don't necessarily mean a coin or a crypto. I mean more like a contract. I have the authority to issue a contract. Each of you guys have the authority to issue a contract. And this contract could be, for very different purpose. So we're going to go through a few examples as to what is the real life use case of tokens and specifically of the advanced token that you could issue on the blockchain. For me, I mentioned contract because this is really the core of what we offer in terms of value. Is like we offer the ability for anyone to write a contract on the blockchain in form of a cryptographic token. So this is where we say you contract your blockchain token, and the first use case would be for community and peer-to-peer financing and tokenization. So with Merit, anyone can easily create and distribute a unique digital asset or token by themselves, according to their need, whether to issue a token for a community to vote on and finance a project, issue a loan to get finance, or issue a token to trade services directly with peers. So again, the main motto of the blockchain, middleman, we remove the middleman and we minimize the fees. So maybe I just want to go through 4 examples here today with you guys. So with the Merit protocol, a vendor, a merchant can create and distribute its own token as a voucher for discounts. Or maybe a cinema box office can create its cinema ticket token. We don't need to go online, buy a ticket, or go on the box office, buy a paper ticket. You can actually just go on the marketplace, buy a token access, and access the facilities. And what we offer here at Merit is very much it's a tool for businesses to use. They do not need to ask anyone permission, and this is very important. We are not a centralized entity. We are providing a tool for anyone to use according to their need. We are not involved. Nobody needs to ask anyone's permission. Obviously, the flip side of it is you need to make sure you comply with the local regulation. So for the second example, a trusted community can create its own token and sell them to members to fund a wind turbine that would benefit the entire community. I mean, this is what I would call a service token for decentralized communities. But we can think of, for example, a residence of a block of flats. They buy the community token, which is represented by the resident of the resident community. And these residents, through this token, they could vote, for example, because the issuer has attached voting right to the token. He could also attach a dividend right if the project, if there's any residual profit out of the project left at the end of the year. So we can think of the community of residents voting, well, first buy the token to support the community and finance the project. So for traceability. We use the immutability characteristic of the blockchain. And this for everyone to see and audit by themselves. So the voter can see, yeah, their vote has been respected, and yes, the proceeds have been used as per vote. And if there is a profit by the year end and there is a dividend right attached to the token, through the token on their wallet, they can receive their part of the profit, okay? So that's the second example. Another, maybe we do one last example, is more like a financial contract. I mean, we can say contract, but obviously blockchain is very relevant for financial contract when there are payments involved. Where it gets interesting is you have both ways, payment that could go both ways, from the issuer to the community of token holder, but also from the token holder to the issuer at a point of time when they buy the token. So an individual can request a loan with his trusted network by simply creating and selling his loan token to his communities, friends, and family. So that would be a loan token. So I think we do believe, I think we are yet to see the true potential of the blockchain. I think really we are very much like in the very, very early days of the blockchain like we were in the early days of the internet. So when the internet came up, like small businesses were doing just like they were just having a website to show their product, for example. And it took about 10 years for actually small businesses and companies and even individuals to actually realize the true potential of the internet and use it throughout the chain of value creation from the beginning, not just as a, as a place where they can show their product. They actually now, the company use the internet to actually produce in a better way their product. So in the same way, we believe the blockchain here is very early, and we see a future whereby there will be millions of tokens. I think there's about 2,000 cryptocurrency today, which I call as well token. But with Merit, we offer a platform for people to actually create advanced token. You can have voting right attached to your token. You can have payment right, dividend right, for example, or repayment right in the context of a loan token. Voting right. Maybe a government wants to issue a citizen token. I mean, this is a bit of an extravagant example, but it's very much possible. The UK can issue a UK citizen token distributed to each citizen, and citizen can actually vote through that medium. And what the beauty is here is it's transparent. Nobody can change the result. People can actually see for what it is. So again, immutability, traceability, transparency. So we do believe at Merit there is a need for a tool. Now the problem, there is a need for a tool to actually create these millions of tokens. And we don't believe it should be down to a big company to actually do this. It should be down to the individual to create like the token they need for their use. It should be down to the communities to create the token they need for their own use. And this is where we see a potential for millions of tokens. The need for a tool to service this and to create this advanced token. So this is where we believe we at Merit, we want to seize that opportunity and provide this tool for small businesses and individuals. So what problem we're solving? It's very simple. Today, if you want to create a token, you need to be a developer, and you need to spend about 4 or 5 months working on it. And you may not come up with the best result. The alternative is you have funding and you pay a team of developers. So either way, you have to ask someone or pay someone. So now what with Merit offer is a tool that you can use by yourself, and you actually decide which functionality makes sense for you. You don't need to ask anyone permission. In addition to this, I mean, we provide a creation tool, and we also assist onto the distribution in a sense that we try to give 2 distribution channels for people creating or for businesses creating a token, a social network, a distribution channel, or a marketplace channel. So I'll go into more detail later on these 2. So now it's all good and great, but how do you create your token, and how Merit has been able to actually provide this tool for anyone to use? So I think the first characteristic is the Merit protocol is an asset class agnostic protocol. We're not here to decide what you do. If you promise, if you issue a contract with a promise of a repayment, this is very much like a loan contract, okay? But if you maybe attach voting right and the promise of repayment depending on future profits, that's going to be an equity-like instrument. But we're not here to tell you what to do. You choose, the communities, the individual, choose what terms they want to write on the blockchain, okay? So by writing these terms on the blockchain, they become executable by in an automated fashion by smart contracts. And if, say, for example, a non-contract doesn't get repaid as per contract, then that will create an event of default that will be also auditable, and that will also impact the reputation of the issuer, and so on. So next time, obviously, the issuer issue a token, people can see that he has defaulted previously, so that won't be that I mean, the idea is it won't attract as much interest. It's a reputation-based system or a trust-based distribution, okay? So the key terms, as I mentioned, the key terms of your token are like voting right or payment are on the blockchain and executed via smart contracts, so ensuring transparency and trustless execution. The third point is the data. We do not hold data. We are a tool and a protocol. We are like a library of codes. So people, the issuer, the end user, choose how they want to use their data. whether they want to store it on their local mobile phone, on their desktop, or actually maybe they prefer to choose a distributed storage of their choice. The last point is we purely, again, very important is we decentralized. We're a tool for people to use. So people do not need to ask anyone's permission, and the only fee to pay is to ensure the security of the network. So just to go across quickly the last technical slide, but these are like the token building block. So people can build and deploy on-chain their digital assets or token. Okay, so they can choose whether the token can be traded publicly, semi-publicly, or privately, okay? Maybe if I want to issue a family token or a small community token, I don't want anyone to know about it. This is a private matter. Payment to token holder, we talked about it. Maybe if there are dividend right attached to the token or loan repayment right, etc. So payment, I would say, from the issuer back to the community of token holders. Voting or communication right attached. I could well think of I mentioned a voting token, but it could be a newspaper token where a newspaper issue a token for each one of their readers, and this token gives access to a monthly publication, which this could be transmitted on the internet to the blockchain and verified as well on the immutable ledger. Okay. Token distribution, I think this is a bit technical, but the issuer can actually choose whether they want to do the distribution manually, or maybe they actually want to have like an automatic vending machine whereby anyone trying to buy their token, they'd have to send their crypto to a distribution contract, and they will receive in exchange in an automated fashion a token issued by the issuer. Okay? And again, token terms can be public or private. So depending on how attractive or how public you want your token to be, you may want to disclose a lot or very little, depending on your situation and the purpose of your token. So Merit protocol, we do have, we are like, for now, we are running on the testnet, on the Rinkeby testnet. So we have a pilot live and up and running that anyone can test, and you guys can actually issue loan token and commit on chain to a repayment schedule and say, for example, if you don't repay, I'll be able to see that. That will impact your reputation. Your next issuance will be as well seen as less attractive. So the loan token is one of the most complicated token, and we've chosen this one as a first application of our pilot on the testnet. So to issue token, we do not charge a fee. However, we do ask for people to place a small deposit in form of our own Merit token, the native token of the protocol. And the purpose of this mechanism is to secure our protocol. So we can run across a number of blockchain. We're exploring RSK Bitcoin to run on top of Bitcoin. It is possible as well that we could run our own blockchain, but we remain, I guess, as mentioned previously, I mean, the space is very dynamic. So our primary focus is to actually deliver a product and a solution that actually works for people who do not know much about blockchain. We try to make, to abstract the complexity and bring the blockchain in the background and make sure that people actually realize the benefit and the value of being able to issue your own digital assets. So we are looking for investors. We will be doing our public sale in October, and right now we're seeking a private investor that could support us in the venture. So there's no need to mine the Merit token yet, but you can join us really early in the process in order to finance the marketing campaign and also to bring the protocol on the mainnet and also develop a suite of dApp. So we are a London-based team. My background is corporate finance. I have some of my team members here. We've been working for more than a decade in corporate finance in London. We also are working with a charity, the Hummingbird Nation, on a real-life application for a charity to be able to issue their own token on the back of donation so that donors can actually trace where their donation is being used for. And also we have coverage in Asia with a Korean team members. We also have, I'd say, a team of 5 developers led by a quantitative finance developer who worked in leading institutions. So this is our roadmap. Maybe we can, and probably I can take some questions to make it. This is a testnet to make it a bit more interactive, and maybe I can take an example. Maybe if someone has an idea of a community or have a question as how the token can be actually used in the real life, I'm more than happy to try to give you another example. Any question? Yeah?
Hello?
Yeah.
Good, there we go.
I can hear you, yes.
Quick question, what blockchain are you on?
For now, we're on the Ethereum blockchain, so we're actually on the Rinkeby testnet right now.
Okay, thanks. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
First of all, who is aware of SVK crypto? Could I see a show of hands? Okay, hopefully I'm not going to bore you or tell you something that you already know. Who's not aware of SVK crypto? That hurts, that kills me. Up a fund where we put our own money and now investors' money, in particularly Block One, which are the guys behind EOS, to the tune of $50 million. So we're serious as a heart attack about what we do. And I thought I'd just take this little bit of time to tell you our story, how we got here, and more importantly, what we're doing going forward. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about the fund as well. So a very quick background on myself. I've been an investment professional in the City of London for almost 18 years now. Originally, I moved over from Dublin, Ireland, and had worked on the buy side. So always as a client to the larger investment I see someone like Ryan from Polychain follow a protocol or follow a company, we're on top of that, finding out exactly where they're based, what they do, what their website is, have they a Telegram, who else is on their team, and we'll literally become to a point of suffocation to find out everything about that project. So we use Twitter in a way to generate deal flow. It's not just to post our several pieces of content that we do every day. So it's a useful tool, but it's a great tool to connect. So if you're not following us, please do, and we'll follow you back. It was at that point, one evening, that we were saying to ourselves, well, okay, so we have a Twitter, and we have a blog. You know, how can we get the word out more? We're such big audio components, and we're such big audio fans that we really wanted to find a way that we could spread the word, not just in London. It was really to spread the word globally. And when we looked at a lot of podcasts at the time, they were going on for like 2 hours. And there was a lot of droning and a lot of talking about the dog and the cat and the game. And we just thought that you could really refocus to have a podcast, not every month or every week, but every day. We decided 15 minutes was an ideal time. Then we realized that Andy Warhol said everyone in the future will be famous for 15 minutes. So we thought that was a kind of cool thing. So we called it 15 minutes of crypto fame. We do it each and every day. We have never missed a day. And we've had some of the most amazing people from the blockchain space interviewed. We're very proud of this. We're coming close to our 200th show, and we're only really getting started. So if you like to listen to cryptocurrency and blockchain technology and any type of market movements, it comes each and every day. Please download to subscribe to it. We're really, really proud of it. It was at that point also that we realized that we had to do something for the London community to bring everybody together. So we started to hold monthly meetups. We've been running them now over a year, and I see a lot of people that come to our meetups religiously, so thank you so much. We've got some amazing speakers down. And quite recently, we had one of our largest meetups, which was an open panel discussion from guys from Consensus, guys from Switch.io Networks, which is a decentralized exchange on the Neo platform, guys from Iconic Labs, which is a big incubator in Germany, and also guys from Iovo, which is a real exciting project which is coming up about owning your own data. Look out for that, Iovo, really, really interesting. We had about 400 people down that night, and the response has been phenomenal. We do this because we see that London is such a key place for crypto and blockchain, and it's really important that we all come together as one and share ideas and share contacts so that when the rest of the world look at us, we can definitely stand up and prove and show what we're doing. So I'm really, really passionate about that, and really when you look at our events, it's a real coming together, a celebration of crypto and blockchain. So please, if you look at our website, you'll see all the dates that we've got coming up, and we've got some great shows. After that, we realized that a lot of the projects that we were looking at and a lot of projects that we really, really liked were all using Telegram. So one day, we decided to set up a Telegram for the team, which consists now of 7 people, just to really communicate. That Telegram has grown like wildfire, and it now has over 1,100 people in it, all organic. Some of the guys that we have in there are from some of the biggest projects, some of the biggest exchanges. We've got some guys on the regulatory side, we've got some investors, we've got some great projects. But more importantly, we have our London community, so please feel free to get into that community. If you're looking for me and you're trying to email me or WhatsApp me, chances are I'm in Telegram. So if you just post something in there, I'll reply, especially if it's discussing anything with regards to crypto. We love a good debate, so please feel free to let us know what you think. We realized that a lot of the tension was on YouTube, and when we looked at the area of who was getting attention, we saw a lot of people online who were influencers, and I use the word very, very lightly. Really what we saw was a lot of people with their mobile phone in their mommy's bedroom, with their mommy's bed, not actually dressed, with a cat asleep, saying that they were going to go to the moon or get a Lambo or some type of shit like that. And we just thought that this was so misleading, that there was people out there which were supposedly not giving investment advice, had no fucking clue how to actually look at a project and value it, and had no clue of how to be skeptical that this is so early stages that you really have to really understand the risks that you're getting into, and you have to really have a deep dive on the project. A lot of these people were getting paid for what they were doing, which I was dead against. But what I did respect, although I didn't respect them personally, are their execution, which was poor, are their analysis, which was shabby. what I did respect was their audience, and I thought that we have a duty here to create content to put out with nothing but educating people. We're not selling a product or a service. We're not getting you to buy our course. We're not getting you to join our token. That, to me, I couldn't care less about. What I want to see people do is understand what we have, and for everybody to be part of it and do what they want to do with it. So we hired a camera guy, a head of production, creation, and each and every day we try to put out content on the markets. We also got on planes and flew out to NeoDevCon in San Francisco. We went to Token 2049 in Hong Kong. We went to Consensus in New York. And we did this because we wanted to reach out to the community, and we wanted to document and create and interview some cool people. When you check out our video content, you'll see people from all over different project spaces. And we believe we're only getting started, but we really want to represent London. So that's how the YouTube thing came about. And we're very, very proud of it. It takes a lot of time. There's a lot of money which goes into it, but we know it's the right way to grab attention and landmass. Anyway, this has all led to where we are today, and we're really, really proud that we have been validated by one of the largest protocols in the market today. Certainly EOS has been on our radar since the start of the ICO, and I must admit, when I saw that they were going to do an ICO for a year, I went, fair play, those guys got balls, and they did. They not only did that, but they executed it with perfection. They ran a token offering or token generation event every 23 hours, so it gave everybody in different time zones the opportunity to apply. They have raised in excess of, depending which metrics you use, 4, 5, 5.8 billion. I don't know how you want to calculate that. But they did that without any type of hitch and hiccup. And when we were looking at the project, it was very interesting that at around a similar time they were looking at us, and it was at that stage whereby we had an initial meeting, and it became very clear what EOS were looking to do with a portion of their capital raise was to take $1 billion of that. And unlike Ethereum, which is amazing for many ways, having consensus, which then invests into very early stage projects they call spokes, what EOS were going to do was not have that centralized. They were going to decentralize that and find different VC partners around the world which had some type of skill or experience, some different type of skill set, and actually back them. We're really pleased to announce that SVK Crypto was their 5th investment. Their first investment was with Galaxy Holdings, and some of you might know Mike Novogratz, unbelievable character, great pioneer for the space, and done very well. The second investment they made was with Eric Schmidt, who is the ex-CEO of Google. The third was FinLab AG. The fourth was EOS Global out of Korea, and the 5th was SVK Crypto. So we are delighted that they have had faith in our community-driven approach and how we have attached the scene. So right now we're in a situation which we've partnered with Block 1. The fund size at this point in time is $50 million, and I thought that that $50 million was going to come with a lot of strings, a lot of conditions. I was very surprised to see that there was very few, and the first one was make sure you go out and invest the money into projects that will utilize the EOS.io protocol. So now, as we stand here today, we're looking for projects in the very early stages. The earlier, the better. Projects that not only can we write a check for, but we can look to incubate and bring in to our community, to share with everybody that we have in our community, with all our different channels. But more importantly, to have very early stage talks with all the dev team over at EOS to make sure that what they're developing is in line with what EOS are developing. And also, when you look at what EOS have achieved with raising that amount of money and closing that off on June 1 and launching their mainnet on June 14th, it's such early days, so there is a lot of education which is going on. But we are here today looking at deploying capital into the space. It's wonderful validation for London, and we're really excited that we're at a table with such prominent VC firms. So with that, I'd love to be able to open up to any questions, and I really thank you for your time today. 17 minutes, that wasn't bad. Okay, I'm on form.
Petition of EOS. So I know this is one of the best public chain right now available. And can you give a little bit more information about the landscape that you think who would be the strongest competitor in the next 5 years? I know that there's a lot of ambitious, like for example, Bitcoin Cash, they are quite ambitious building a public chain as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what do you think will be the competition landscape look
sure,
like?
Sure, I can give you my view on that as we look at it from SVK's perspective. You're right, there is going to be a lot of competing blockchains for various different reasons. When I look at the competitive landscape now, I don't think that we've got all the characters lined up as yet. Obviously, when we look at where we are right now, we've got EOS, of course, Ethereum, which is the heavyweight. We all know that there are some scaling issues, but when you look at the dev team over at Ethereum, including my cousin, who's one of the managing directors, Laurie Kehoe, Consensus, I'm very aware of how they're building out. Of course, you've got Neo, and the talent that Da Hongfei has assembled in China with Neo is unbelievable. It really is the smart economy. We're very bullish on Neo as well. Cardano, we absolutely love Bob Hopkinson. We have to really see how they're going to deliver. It's a lot of theory right now. What I would look out for is several other protocols that are coming through. I think there's Definity, which looks really interesting. There's also a project called Kadena, which you should definitely look at. We've seen other protocols like Starkware, which has just raised $6.6 million in its first round. The likes of Polychain Capital, Pantera, I even believe Vitalik and Da Hongfei are invested in that project. So I think it's super early days yet. The pipes are still being plumbed and laid. I think what we'll really start to see is differentiation when we start to see adoption and when we start to see real user cases, and then we'll be able to compare and contrast. But we're not there yet, but I think that's a really good opportunity to invest.
Yeah, hi, thanks. Great presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm Seymour. So I think, obviously, I wanted to just get more information around your, SVK crypto.
Sure.
And your strategy for investments. Is it particular to any use cases? And what position do you guys take in a company or in a team when you guys get involved? Is it EOS? Is it SVK crypto? Just maybe can you expand on that?
Sure. The clarification is that it's the fund which is investing. That fund is called Cryptagon EOS. And that structure is a typical fund which would be deploying capital into a project. We like very early stage projects. That can be a blend of equity and tokens. We don't want to have a fund which is just going to be a token fund, because the volatility when you deploy $50 million in a token-only fund, even for me who really likes risk, I do want to sleep at night. Certainly some nights. With regards to the type of projects that we're looking for, we're very open. As long as the mandate is to invest into projects which will use the EOS protocol. Of course, we're looking for cases that have a problem that they're solving. We're looking for an all-star team that we know that we can execute. And we're looking for projects that are right with their timing. We look at so many deals over the last 2 years since the inception of SVK, and there are so many deals that came to us whereby they want to have a token for people over 65 that can go to the dentist and use this token in the dentist. And you're looking at people going, like, less than 0.5% of people that use the internet have a digital wallet, and you're talking about 65-year-old going to the dentist and using a dentist coin. Like, you're batshit crazy. You should go and do something else, but you're a nice person and I really appreciate your time. So, I think what we're looking to do is to put a big net open and bring everybody in, but realistically, we're not a charity. We're looking to generate returns for our investors, so we have to always be looking at how is this project actually going to get adopted. So if you do have a project, or you have any friends at a project, if you get in our Telegram chat, which is SVK Crowd, or you email myself, or you go onto our website, we have a form which is the initial form that you can fill out, which allows us just some information to start that process. So if there's anything we can do to help, let us know. Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. It was good to hear a bit of the backstory as well. Thanks. My question's around adoptability for enterprises. Like everyone talks about, blockchain for it to go mainstream, enterprises need to use it, but doesn't seem to happen at the moment. There's lots of pilot projects, lots of proof of concepts and things like that, but no one's really adopting this at any scale. And I was wondering why hasn't that happened yet, or do you think it will happen, or when? So if you can shed some light on that, would be great.
Listen, it will definitely happen. Why do you think we're all here today? If I didn't think it was happening, I'd be in a pub. I'd be enjoying myself. Listen, you got to look at a few things, right? So let's look at, let's go back and look at 1992, 93, and the dawn of the internet. And if you go back and actually look at that's documented, there was so many people saying it's only for people that are looking to do criminality online. I don't understand it. Why do we need to have the internet? It's never going to take off. Companies are not going to use it. There's a really great video footage that I play of, I think it's CNBC morning program, where they don't even understand what the @ sign is, and they don't know what the internet is. That was 1994, and I have that. It takes time. And just like the internet, you have to realize that in 2006, we didn't have an iPhone. You take out your phone now and you push that button, you're on Google within less than a second. If you go back and look how you connected to the internet back in 1994 and the steps that you had to go through with getting your phone and putting it into the wall and putting it down and dialing and waiting for the computer and then putting in a password, which was 1234, because everyone's password was 1234, and then waiting and then finally getting onto something that you had no idea what you were going to do with it, that's where we are. So adoption takes time. And also, let's look at where we were a year and a half ago. January 1, 2016, the total combination of market capitalization of cryptocurrency was 20 billion. By the 31st of December 2017, total market capitalization was 800 billion. It went parabolic. A year and a half ago, nobody was interested apart from the people that really cared about it. A year later, every bank, every financial government wants to make their own coin or their own blockchain. And enterprises were like that. Remember, 97 to 98% of the market back in 2016 was retail driven, right? Moms and pops, traders, people that were passionate about it. Enterprises had no clue about it. In fact, still to this day, we're educating big enterprises on what it means for it. But believe me, they'll learn pretty quickly when they realize that that's where the business will be done. And you're looking at property rights, you're looking at health, you're looking at anything that has a record with regards to insurance, right? It's a trust and value type thing. But I know that there has been several talks with a lot of the airlines which are looking at having their loyalty program built on the blockchain. I know that there's conversations going on right now with one of the largest ticket sellers of concerts worldwide that are looking to take 5% of their business and put it on the blockchain. Companies like Live Nation or companies like Qantas Airlines. And I know there's a big supermarket retailer that's looking at having their in-store card on the blockchain. So it's not going to happen overnight. There'll be small adoptions like back in the internet days when there was a company saying, hey, maybe we should have a website and just have our products. Oh, well, why don't we list our products and a phone number? 10 years later, the person who picked up that phone in the sales depot doesn't even exist anymore, and they're booking it all through online. So it's going to happen. Technology never goes back. It always goes forward. But the great thing is that we're all here today and we realize that. So pick your spots, put your trade on, and yeah, we'll thank each other in 10 years' time.
Got one more question, and I was just going to say, in regards to adoption in the UK, and the guy's going to talk about adoption later on in the final panel as well, but from an investor landscape, the press and the media have a big part to play, and the press and the media don't understand blockchain, don't understand crypto. Any good investor will tell you, and I say good investor, people that are trying to invest, and no one can really claim always to be good investors unless you can prove it, but people are comfortable investing in what they know, and there isn't a lot of information out there unless you come to these sort of events or join communities such as SVK, and it's a lot of the newspapers, the media, the TV, they like to paint the picture of this bubble, this traditional bubble that's going to burst. And you've got this really interesting collision of tech-savvy millennials who understand the tech and believe in the future, who are completely different from your traditional investor who are maybe a bit shy and trying to work out, you know, well, they don't even work out, they just believe the media. So in terms of the UK adoption, there's lots and lots of companies that are moving in the right directions, communicating with the government and regulation, but at the same time, you know, this will be a slow process, and once even the industry realizes how to explain what we are, you know, what are all these different assets that are now digital and crypto, and what does it mean in the wider landscape? And at the same time, I'm babbling on now, but at the same time, you know, you've got this global community, and the crypto world is completely global. It's this, okay, well, do we actually need a central body in one country controlling us? Do we need this bank in this one country controlling us? Well, actually, if we build a community which is global, and we can operate far more efficiently as a community. So as well as the governments realizing what they're going to do at home, they have to communicate with other governments, with other regulatory bodies, and figure that out before they can really make out statements that make it easier for traditional investors to get involved. Wow, that was longer than I expected. I'll pass you over for the final question.
Yeah, are you familiar with quant technology, and do you use it?
I'm not a quant by nature. I've always been very much a fundamental investor, so bottoms up.
So there is quantitative investment and fundamental, correct, but there is a mixture of it, and it is quantamental. So I don't know if you're aware of that.
I'm definitely aware of the mental part, because sometimes I feel a little bit like that, but the side of it, you know, I don't deem to have any experience in that. But you know, it's wonderful to see a lot of the younger talent coming up through and having a quant side, you know, having an analytical side. We always really value their approach, and that's the great thing about where we are. If you've come from a financial institution or a legal institution, it was all about the managing directors, and if you were a younger associate or associate director, you were told to stay in the corner and take notes. I'm going into more and more meetings where I've got a 22-year-old who understands the tech at a deeper knowledge that I will ever learn, and it's wonderful to be with someone almost half my age, for them adding so much value to where we are. So with regards to the quantamental, I'm definitely going to leave it up to the younger, more smarter people. But this is the great thing. Everybody has got something to add, and we are by no means experts in anything. And it's funny, I see this on my LinkedIn all the time. ICO expert, you know, and I'm like, really? Okay, interesting. I wonder how many ICOs that guy has actually been involved in, and also calling yourself an expert. We're just like everybody else out there. We're just passionate to the core of learning every day, and history has not even been written. The future is still unfolding. So I think what's great is that we can just keep on learning as the space evolves, and that's what I'm going to try to do.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Shane.
guys. Thanks. Okay.
Right, everyone. So we're running a little bit over, but we've got more to come. But I think it's a good time to take a break, grab a drink. The bar is still running on a tab. Help yourself. Get prepared and situated for the next couple of panels. And also, I encourage you to just meet other investors, other people in the space, and you know, find out what's going on.
te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, 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 bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, 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 bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te deja de soplar por un segundo. Cuando te enamoras, si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. 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 Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. Bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. 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 Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. 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 Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. Bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. 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 Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma. No, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. el viento deja de soplar por un segundo, cuando te enamoras, si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, 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 bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma, lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida, por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París, 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 bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de
We're going to finish now with one panel. We're going to be talking about the current investment climate and the adoption of crypto. I'm going to pass you over to my esteemed colleague, Fiona Cooper, who is our content director. So Fiona's going to introduce you to the team. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for coming back. I hope you've had a nice drink. We're going to be talking lots of things about investment and about adoption over the next 20 minutes. So we have a great team to answer those questions. I'm going to bring up first Charles Story, who's Head of Strategic Partnerships at SVK Crypto.
Thank you.
And next up, we've got Matthew Newton, who's an account manager at eToro, specializing in high net worth investors. And then Marina Titova, Head of ICO Advisory at NKB Group. And finally, Rowan Stone, who's Director of Business Development at Zencash. And I'm Fiona Cooper. Are we okay with where everyone's sitting? There was some kind of thing about everybody sitting in certain places, and I don't think they're where they're supposed to be. But never mind. I'm Fiona Cooper. I'm helping Patrick and the rest of the team manage speakers and exhibitors at the shows we've got coming up, and I'm sure we'll tell you a bit about those in a bit. So we've got a number of questions to ask, and we're going to start off talking about crypto adoption. And Matthew, I know that recently in a paper with Imperial College, you started talking about Bitcoin replacing fiat within a decade. So I'm quite excited about that. I think all of us as investors should be too. So what do you think it's going to take for that to actually happen?
Okay, well, just to put a little bit of context behind the research, at the beginning of the year when things started to die down a little bit, we wanted to understand the people who were investing in crypto. And just over the last year, we found that people really didn't know an awful lot about cryptocurrency. So the difference between a cryptocurrency or a crypto commodity, breaking down crypto assets, it was more just dive in on speculation and learn later. So there was a lot of concepts that people didn't really understand. So we wanted to get a bit of research out there where people could understand what crypto actually was. To define a token or what Bitcoin is or distributed ledger technology. And then also look at the challenges that something like Bitcoin has ahead of it to be adopted. So we focused on things like scalability, regulation, privacy, incentives, adoption. And these were the challenges that crypto has to overcome. So ultimately, the type of things that we need to focus on is the three functions of money that really exist. So, medium of exchange, unit of account, and the store of value. And we feel that it is already fulfilling the purpose of store of value, but it has to overcome the other two. So, things like adoption are going to be by merchants and users is going to be the key fact for that in the emergence of the technology.
So this is really key for eToro. Obviously, as an exchange, you want more and more people to become involved. So are you working in any way with merchants to work out how they can best adopt cryptocurrencies in their businesses?
We're not working with it specifically. I mean, we've obviously championed cryptocurrencies. We're a regulated broker with a favourable view of cryptocurrencies, and we've been in it for a long time. But what we want to try and do is do our bit to really help educate people in learning about it, because ultimately money, from the very beginnings has been an evolutionary step from the barter economy to where we are now. It's gone from, money obviously being a commodity that people can use to exchange goods, and people don't really understand what money is. So it was a case of really trying to determine and define what money is, and to look at the steps that it needs to overcome for this next evolution of money to really become adopted by the mainstream.
So, are there any other of the panel who can comment on what we can do to enhance adoption and really get cryptocurrencies being used more in our daily lives?
Yeah, you need a stable coin. Bitcoin itself probably won't be the transactional crypto that we'll see. It will be a stable token such as Haven, There's a few others out there, something that people can trust, that doesn't have the volatility of the crypto space. Because if you're a merchant and someone bought a coffee from you for $2, next day it's worth $4, and you're going to be pretty upset that you paid $4 for a coffee that was worth $2. You need a stable coin, something that doesn't have volatility within, something people can trust, and that's something that can be accepted by merchants and consumers at the end of the day.
Another aspect of that is obviously an ecosystem that is easy to use. So it was one of the functions, or one of the areas of adoption that we focused on. You know, right now it's a lot of technical jargon, and each year it's a lot easier for people to get into crypto, but still we have a long way to go. So if you look at something like Dash, they ultimately want to build a PayPal easy platform that people can exchange crypto. So apart from the volatility side of things, we also need a back end that people can use and really exchange easily. And I think that's also going to be a big part of the adoption.
But you have to think about it as well. Everyone has a mobile phone and everyone uses mobile banking, and you're pretty close to the adoption being there already, right? The wallet. But it just needs to be accessible, and it needs to be easy enough for my grandmother to be able to send me Bitcoin or to send me a stable token for me to transact with. And that's what needs to occur, and we're pretty close to getting to that level.
Completely agree with that, absolutely. I think the two main focuses from our side for this year is definitely usability and utility.
Yeah.
At the moment, I mean, the phrase that I keep using, that we keep using, is bringing crypto from the geeks to the masses.
Yeah.
Because it is way too complicated, completely agree. But there's also the lack of real utility. We need to create something that people actually want to use, rather than just having a kind of speculatory asset that somebody wants to hold. So usability and utility is kind of the main two focuses for us to try and tackle adoption.
And linked with that, I guess, is also from institutional investor perspective, is custody of funds. And that has still not been really properly solved for crypto. It's still an issue for institutional investors, and that's also part of
So can you explain a little bit what you mean by custody of funds?
Yes, so because in fact with crypto you have to worry about private keys, how you store it, and things like that, right? For in traditional in other asset classes that institutional investors have to deal with, they know they have a custodian and the assets are safely in place with it. In crypto, you either have to figure it out yourself, as again many of the kind of more prominent crypto investors have solved for themselves, but it's a long process and it's quite an expensive one, right? Or rely on very few custodians that exist and that have not to date offered fully, say, compliant solutions. Like in the US, you have to be SEC registered custodian. So
but that's more institutional, like retail, which is really where this is the adoption. It doesn't really need the institutional custodian.
No, that's what I said, from institutional investor perspective, not from the retail.
But from an individual basis, it's about the usability of private keys and all this kind of thing, which is, again, what Matt was saying, a real usability issue for individuals on the street who might want to think about using crypto for actual transactions. Then the fact that you have to have private keys and all the rest of it is somewhat bamboozling to most people, because that's not what they're used to dealing with. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Fair comment.
Even just the address. I mean, human readable addresses would make a huge difference to how somebody perceives crypto. Yeah. It doesn't change the actual technical skill required to execute, but when you open a wallet, the first thing you're confronted with as a kind of person that's not in the crypto space is 30 addresses that just look like complete gobbledygook. You're immediately going to go, oh, too complex, and just put it down. So we need to kind of create nice, simple, sleek applications that are easy to grasp. And like you say, you can give it to your grandma or your next door neighbor, and they can immediately go, right, I can send 1 Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoin, and it's nice and simple.
In a previous life, I was a usability expert, and I just cringe at the state of crypto at the moment. So, it
but
does
I'm sure you can go back, as I think Shane was saying earlier.
Go back 6 months even. It's come on. So
yeah.
you know, things are vastly improving, and as hopefully they'll improve at that exponential rate that they have done in the past 6 months, and we'll see something amazing by this time next year.
That's the job of the developers ultimately. They're the ones that comes down to the incentive side of things too.
Really start looking at usability, because it's a major factor in adoption. My next question is kind of related to that, actually. It's for Rowan. Zencash has recently joined together with IOHK for the purposes of research, so I'd like you to tell me a little bit about that. But I also noticed that IOHK has a major objective of getting the 3 billion people who don't have access to financial institutions into the financial system. And is that, as a sector, fundamental for crypto adoption, or are they driving it?
They're certainly trying. I think everybody has a piece to play in that. For the IOHK partnership, we've already talked about the kind of adoption problems. So from our perspective, we perceive it as utility and usability. From the technology side, though, we've got two pretty glaring holes, if you like. We have scaling. Bitcoin now is at a point where it's kind of creaking at the seams, and whenever anything big happens, it starts to fumble. And we've had the long-standing argument of how to tackle that problem. So scaling is problem number one, and governance is problem two. So that's what IOHK have been targeted with going and researching. They've got a paper out already on the kind of what we're coining our next generation voting system. So it's an incentivized voting system that requires some skin in the game in the Zencash ecosystem to participate. And the kind of aim there is to ensure that we are censorship resistant. So having just a single team as a single point of failure, we want to remove ourselves from being a single point of failure and kind of open up some of the really important decisions to the community.
That sounds pretty cool. And as far as sort of third world adoption and that kind of thing goes, is that something that IOHK are working on? And what's your view on, well, is Zen being adopted as globally as you would like?
It's early days, so we're around about a year old. We currently have a team of 54 people. We recently professionalized, so split into distinct divisions, and our kind of business development division, if you like, is really well distributed. So we're trying to put boots on the ground in every region all around the world, primarily because it's silly for me sitting up in Scotland to try and do business development in Russia or in Latin America or in China. So we put boots on the ground in every locality. They're the specialists in their own markets, and we try and drive adoption that way. Specifically in kind of the unbanked, we're just about to make a bit of a push into India, which is a really important market for that problem, and we're already making tracks in Africa. So that's the kind of two places that we're working actively.
Fantastic. And I'm seeing some major developments in the zone of sort of third world development as well within the blockchain, which is a really interesting area. Charles, I know that SVK is obviously huge in London, doing massive things to promote the community and bring the community together. And you're doing your podcast daily, which is really exciting, and communicating major news to everybody as it comes up, which is great. But I know that you also, as SVK, you travel the world and you see lots of different things happening, and I'm wondering if there are any things that you're seeing in other places that would be interesting to bring back here.
I mean, it's an interesting question. With the job, we have the luxury of traveling all over the world, Asia, the States, Europe. I think London itself is the most engaged community that we have ever come across. We're very passionate about.
That's great to hear.
Well, we're passionate about our community here in London, and I think the questions that are asked at all of our events are way further ahead than other places.
Wow.
I think Asia's got a pretty interesting community, and I think they're pretty developed. But the UK itself, being a financial hub, you have a lot of smart people here who really understand the aspects of opportunity, and I think they really understand, the smart ones, what's going on here. I know a lot of people from the city who have converted over to this space, not officially, unofficially.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are very engaged in what's going on here in London. And by the way, if you're not in London, you're not from London, London is this great hub and everyone thinks great of it. We're here, so we understand that it's just a normal place like anywhere else.
Well, plenty of people are coming from elsewhere to here.
You
I've
do
met a few of them tonight.
But everyone expects London and the New Yorks and Seoul to be the leaders when you're not from here. They really do. They think it's a magical party that happens here every day. So it's something we need to deliver
Well, so let's make it a magical party, right?
Well, we look, when I was saying earlier in the year, we wanted to really understand our clientele. For the group, the eToro group, the UK is actually the strongest. It's the crypto region of eToro. And we do have a high, we looked at it, there's a map that we always put up in our lecture when we do a presentation, but the high concentration is the southeast, you know, around London, but it's distributed. Our clients are distributed all over the country. We're not just southeast, but there is something in the UK. They have got, you know, they piled onto crypto last year, and there's a real interest here. So London has to lead the way from that point of view.
Absolutely, London's going to lead the way, but we really believe in the global community. So not having a geographical place as well, I think, is very key, because developers and people in the space who can really add value, can really help everyone move forward, are not necessarily based in a capital city in the world. They can be based anywhere as long as they have an internet connection.
There's plenty of people based in Bali, in the Cayman Islands, and a few other places that we might mention, which makes a lot of sense. Why not? You know, I know there's a big community in New Zealand as well, people interested in the space. And if you can go somewhere beautiful, then let's make that happen too. Kind of makes money much more transferable, and that's part of what started crypto, obviously. So we're going to move on to talk about a bit of investment now. Marina, I know you look particularly at ICOs, so I'm interested to know what you think are the key areas we should be looking at, sectors that are really hot at the moment in terms of ICOs, and if you have any hot tips on ICOs that are coming up, then we'd love to know those too, but I'll ask that down the panel too.
Well, I would say the biggest subsector I'm really keen on, and I see a lot of good projects working on, is data monetization, right? So there's this very big trend that we have seen, you know, like Facebook, Twitter, all the big companies effectively monetizing our data, right? And then the crypto philosophy, I think, goes very much in line with that idea that it should be us ourselves being able to monetize our data, right? Whichever types of data it generates. So I have seen fantastic projects, for example, health data. It's very difficult to do, say, clinical trials, data trials, and blockchain provides fantastic opportunities for that. Again, genomic data along the same lines. Then kind of I would say that generally the company that is going to do very successful data monetization protocol will probably be worth billions, right? I've seen companies kind of starting doing it from the financial space, monetizing, say, trading data as well, that is then later bought, say, by hedge funds to build algorithm on top of that, like Numerai does, for example. So that's, I would say, is the sector that we're most excited, and we're working on 2 mandates around that.
Anyone else want to chip in with sectors that they're watching with complete interest at the moment?
I think you have to look at a sector with a lot of users. Gaming is a huge sector, has a lot of users, people that really understand tech, people that have already been trading virtual currencies, virtual goods, virtual gold. These guys get it, and that's a sector that I think really needs the killer dApp, the decentralized application, to bring them into the space. And if you look at the entire crypto space, you need that killer dApp to bring people over. We don't really have that yet. CryptoKitties arguably was that, but I say that was kind of seasonal. I don't think that was the killer dApp that we really needed. It'd probably be more of a social messenger type application.
You need Fortnite for crypto.
Well, that's you know, again, that would work as well. That would bring users over. It would engage people, and it would allow young people to really understand how to trade, how to hold virtual currencies.
Very young people.
Very young people, and I think that'd be very key for the whole space.
So, we talked about adoption earlier. What about bringing older people and women into the space?
I mean, listen, everyone's welcome in the space, and it'd be great to bring everyone over. I think really to understand adoption, we have to look back at the 90s. What was the killer application back then? It was email. Email was the application that allowed everyone...
So that was about communication.
Communication, allowed people to engage. If you were an email and I wasn't, I wanted to get email so I can communicate with you. We haven't had that yet, and what that will be, potentially, is a social media type application, a dApp. Yeah. That will give the ability for people to message, for people to share content, and give everyone a reason. But the truth is, the users who will be using that technology won't know they're using blockchain technology because it will be so well coded, and it will be so well developed, you won't notice it.
I signed up for Steemit recently.
Great.
Which is cool, but pretty difficult to use. It's not got its usability sussed at all, and it's completely dominated at the moment by gamers and crypto nuts. So have you come across any other projects in the space that are trying to do that kind of thing that are more usable? Because I'd love to find them.
Yeah, I can give you a whole list full, but will they be able to execute and actually bring over the mass amount of people? That's yet to be seen.
Okay, so that's the big question on everyone's minds. Who's going to be the one who kills it with the first application to actually get people in quickly?
Who's going to be wanting to create and develop that? And that goes back to what do we need to do that? Well, we need developers, as Steve Ballmer once said in a famous Microsoft video. That's what we need. That's what the space needs to build these killer and cool applications.
I'd argue that we need developers, and usability experts.
We need you, Fiona. That's what we need.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, it takes more than just developers to build a killer app. It's going to take lots of different professions to kind of pull together and create something that really works. And really
so if we can get diversity into the development teams, then we stand a better chance of bringing diversity into the user base.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as they can execute.
As long as they can execute, yeah. So that's the key. The developers have to be hot shit, right? But then you need the others on the side as well to say, okay, you're going down a really developer-y route here. This is not going to appeal. We need to think out of the box a bit in terms of this. Cool. Okay. So anyone got a project that they would think is a great investment opportunity at the moment?
I'll let Matt kick it off.
Top tips.
You're the man for that one right there.
Well, right now, I think having gone through the last year and being full of beans when you're just diving into projects, I think you have to at this point you really have to turn up the bullshit filter and go through projects with a fine-tooth comb. And what seemed really cool that you might have jumped in last year, all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, and you learn, you win or you learn. So for me, I'm more focused on the protocols right now. So the likes of EOS, Cardano, Neo, I'm not sure. I mean, the likes of Charles can they'll have a bit more, a bit more experience diving deep into these projects. But I think from the actual protocol layer, building these dApps, that's what I kind of focus on. So nothing too left field. I like EOS, I like Cardano, and Bitcoin. They're really the ones that have the majority of my holdings right now.
That's really interesting because that brings me back to a question from my esteemed colleague on my right here, Patrick, who was asking me to ask the question of you guys, how much weighting do you think you should put to the platform that things are being built on when you're assessing a project?
I mean, you need to put everything on those platforms. The question is the platform correct to build what you think needs to happen? But I tell you what, I can't give any investment advice on particular projects that I think look interesting, but I tell you what I find interesting is this time last year, the market cap was roughly the same. But over the course of a year, the technology has expanded tenfold. It really has. People have been working this night and day. So I think a lot of projects at the minute that have executed, have done the ICO or have done a token generation event, have a good team, that have the ability to actually have a shot, a chance at potentially being around the next 10 years, I think they're incredibly undervalued at the minute.
Interesting.
You want to look at projects that are still communicating and still putting things up, even hiring. I look at these things. Are they hiring people? Because if they're actively hiring people, well, there's something going on there. But if there's, you would think
if
anyway.
Dead, you want to worry.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the things that they invested in last year, and they haven't put comments up in months. You know what I mean? So you're wondering what's going on there.
There's a few dead Telegram channels out there.
Yeah.
There's quite a good website called Dead Coins or something that runs you through all of the ones you really do not want to put your money on.
Actually, on that I also wanted to add, I think what has been happening over the last few months, on the back of the ICO frenzy that we had, that the tokens that did not make sense raised a lot of money, right? I think investors are becoming a lot more, maybe a little bit jaded on the status of the ICO market, but also what I'm really seeing a lot of is very detailed thinking on how the value of, say, utility tokens should look like. What are the valuation methodologies? How in the protocol the value actually gets transferred over to the token holders rather than being retained for, say, company foundation. It's maybe a little bit easier for kind of EOS, Cardano, and kind of protocol level stuff, but anything above that, there have been deals that have been raised millions of dollars, where clearly the token doesn't make sense. And so what I really like now is there's a lot more kind of due diligence going on and trying to understand those models and what actually does make sense in the token world, and I really, really welcome that.
I think we all do, probably. I'm going to open it up to the floor now, so if anyone has a question, we've only got 2 mics, so Stuart here. Would anyone like to ask the panel a question? We can't have covered it all. Here's one in the middle.
Go on, Stuart.
Taking a long walk to get around. We spoke a lot about adoption for public use and for how people are going to interact with the blockchain. But my thesis is that people won't be the main users of blockchains. I think machines will. I think there's a lot of interesting things when you start thinking about what happens in the arena of IoT, edge compute, and things like that. When you start thinking about artificial digital entities, and it really marries well with smart contracts and the things that you can do with that. So I was thinking, do you see anything interesting in like automation? Like we speak a lot about distributed autonomous organizations, but besides the first one that failed, is there anything else that's kind of on the same par with what that opportunity put out?
Yeah, I mean, the future is that you have a driverless car that needs to get petrol, that goes to the petrol station, there's no petrol attendant at the pump, and the car pays with cryptocurrency for the petrol that automatically goes into the car. Like, that's the future, and I think people really struggle seeing that. So when mass adoption conversations come up, the best way to relate it to people is to talk about people using it, because that's what they understand. It really freaks them out when you say the future is going to be a driverless car filling up petrol without anyone at the gas station and paying with crypto.
But we've seen a couple of projects try to execute exactly that.
It's going to take time.
It's going to take a lot.
It's going to take time.
Yeah.
But you're right.
There's quite a few going on in AI as well, so we haven't really touched on AI or IoT.
That's the trinity, isn't it?
Yeah,
the whole trinity, AI, blockchain, and big data.
But, you know, all of those areas are ripe for exploitation, and there's some interesting things going on. I know about drones tracking crops and crops being stolen in the third world and this kind of thing. So there's lots of interesting things to watch, but it's very much a case of watch this space as far as I can make out. Is that how you feel about it?
I think there's a lot of things that don't need blockchain itself. I really do. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of hype behind the whole space, which is great, and it's going to take it to some great places. But I think, at the end of the day, technology is really going to improve a few select industries. And I think there's a lot of people trying to incorporate blockchain that don't actually have a particular need to have it.
Yeah, so Shane identified the thing of trust. Projects are really needed where there's a trust issue.
Yeah, anything that involves trust can now be helped by the blockchain and by the blockchain technology.
Well, I think there was one thing from the private side. I think it was Allianz, one of the big insurance guys. They were looking at having a blockchain. So it would be an internal blockchain, it'd be private, it wouldn't be public, but private with a token on it. Obviously, it'd be backed by currency, but they'd be able to transfer. They'd be able to keep all their transfers in-house. So they'd be able to, Allianz UK to Allianz Hong Kong or whatever, and they do it all internally. So there's no counterparty risk, there's no exchange rate risk. They'd be able to send a token from one end, from one corner of their group to the other. I thought that was an interesting...
It's a good point that you raised, because there's a lot of conversation about enterprise-level companies using blockchain technology. And it's interesting because, on one hand, they wouldn't have a public blockchain that they would use, a public protocol, because they don't have control of the consensus of that. Yeah. But then again, they miss out on all the adoption.
The technology takes off beyond where they are, and they get jealous.
It's a part of the conversation that gets lost, the difference between the public and the private side.
Yeah.
You just hear blockchain being used, but you have to really specify what each group is looking at.
It's a really easy way to distinguish as well. Public blockchain is the internet, if you like, and private is like an intranet.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with what you're saying, where the intranet will be popular for a period of time, and then it'll just be left dormant, like all the corporate intranets are at the moment.
Well, it already happened in the 90s. Big companies had a private internet, the intranet, right?
And now it's just
now it's happening
a corporate
with blockchain.
mess with nothing inside it. So.
Exactly.
desolate.
In hello, 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 hello. Tak, tak, tak.
Oh.
Not working? Yeah, he's working. In my opinion, there's a problem at the moment with the usage of the crypto itself. Investors, they buy the crypto thinking, well, I hold it and maybe in a few years I will get some return of my investment. But they're missing the point that crypto has to be used to be go up in value. So what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, massively. Well, what I do with this example is a centralized model. If you had a website that does a lot of sales and there's a lot of transacting going on, they act as a middleman in eBay and Amazon, whatever that type of business is, and no one is buying or selling on that, then that really doesn't have any value because no one's using it. And it's the same with a cryptocurrency. It's a network effect. Ethereum is really the most powerful at the minute. The reason why they have a network effect from all the ICOs that came out. I can probably make a strong case that most of the developers on Ethereum are really developers from an ICO that they've been paid to do. But I mean, what we really need is a network effect, someone that, or a protocol that's going to be built out by millions and millions of people all around the world with a language that's easy to understand that hasn't been tailored specifically for one protocol in particular.
But it is also perfectly scalable and can govern itself without forking into a million pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a really large and complex problem, and it needs to kind of be broken down scientifically and tackled one small problem at a time, kind of breaking it into chunks. But yeah, for sure, I completely agree that we need to be using it. But ultimately, for everybody to start using cryptocurrency, we need to have a real reason to. And at this point in time, I don't believe there's something out there, the killer app, like you say, that really draws people to use it.
In Holland, we have a gift card. In Holland, we have a gift card at the moment that will hit the markets. And,
is that your gift card?
And with that gift card, you can scratch at the back for your private key, and you can use it to buy goods in like Media Market or any electronic shop or whatever.
They normally get stopped because they avoid capital gains, and like they're really avoiding many things. It needs to be more. It needs to work with regulations that are there at the minute for that to really be adopted. But I really think those companies are cool. It's there already. Great.
Yeah. I think the speculation is great advertisement for it, though. That's what sucks people in. You know what I mean? Like, and ultimately, everything begins with speculation. If capital's going in, you want to see a return on your investment, and the early adopters are the ones that get rewarded over time. So, I think it's a great way of sucking people in. It can get a little bit crazy, but ultimately, it leaves people passionate. People do get passionate about it. Then they want to work on it, and that's how it develops over time. It snowballs.
I'm going to ask one question before handing over to these over here. Mainly you, Rowan. I think accessibility is key, and for average person entering the sector, the range of different exchanges, wallets, cold storage, hard storage is kind of quite a lot to navigate. Obviously, Zencash have recently gone onto the Binance exchange, I believe.
We have, yeah.
So I thought it might be interesting from an inside point of view, what goes into that process, and what does it mean for Zencash? Obviously, from the outside looking in, we can make our own assumptions, but something that every coin has got to go through, every token has got to go through in order to grow their project, to make it more accessible and to obviously build upon.
Yeah, I mean, exchange integrations are super critical. So that's what provides liquidity and easy access to people in different regions around the world. The process for listing is often quite complex and can very routinely involve large amounts of money changing hands, or at least that's the kind of way the exchanges are going. They see themselves being in a position of power, and generally speaking, they try their best to exploit that. But for us, we need Zencash to be in the hands of as many people as possible. So listing on Binance is kind of one small part of the puzzle, but really we need to be listing in as many different exchanges as possible, integrating in as many different hardware and software wallets to provide slick user interface and the ability to store funds securely. So yeah, it's a part of the puzzle for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, just going back to the point on adoption again. Just curious if any kind of rising crypto businesses, potentially that have their own coin, for example, have thought about potentially merging with the financial institutions or payment service providers. I mean, I say that because payment cards are so common and the general public are so used to using payment cards and they understand how they work. Would you not see that as being an avenue for collaboration and also a way to make all kinds of payments more accessible and not just try and take over with cryptocurrency, still leave cash, electronic payment via institutional banks, you know, just as viable as crypto payments? As a way to get it quite quickly adopted into the market?
I think crypto debit cards play a really big part, for sure. And
where are we with those at the moment? Because there have been quite a few, and quite a few of them have disappeared without trace.
What have we got now? We've got WireX, we've got...
I mean, 10x is still 10X, there.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem from my perspective with the current generation of crypto cards is that you're not actually spending crypto. You're holding a debit card, you've got an exchange app on your phone, and then your phone app basically exchanges whatever crypto you're holding into fiat, and then the fiat's on your prepaid Visa card and you're spending the fiat. So as soon as you exchange, you've kind of lost whatever crypto you're holding, and you're then in fiat. And for me, the real goal we need to be getting to is actually spending crypto. So the merchant receives cryptocurrency, and they could either have fiat, partial crypto. And I'll take the chance to mention a project that I'm really interested in, and we're talking to at the moment, is a project called Flexa. And they're not going down the debit card route, but they're creating an application that allows really quick and easy payment in crypto, backed by their own fiat reserves. So you go into a shop, I was at Consensus in New York, and they showed us on the app. You select Starbucks, which is where we were, and it then gives you a QR code. You select Bitcoin, obviously, and scan the QR code, and immediately in the back end, so it's super user-friendly, they send an amount of pounds or dollars or whatever to the merchant, and then they debit the crypto from your account. So you're actually spending crypto, and you're doing it in a really clean, easy way. And yeah, it was instantaneous. So I think, for me, that's the way we should be trying to go, rather than the debit card route.
I mean, I'm fully aware of that payment process and how it works. It's having two balances, and obviously when one payment's made, the other one's minused from the account. But just also going back to what the gentleman at the front said about getting people to spend their crypto, if there's hundreds of thousands of people all over the globe who have cryptocurrency maintained in a wallet that they're not able to spend in all kinds of retail outlets, would it not be interesting to get them spending that crypto? Might potentially wake up the financial institutions to seeing how many people are using cryptocurrency for regular day-to-day payments, rather than trying to find another avenue to coincide with the one that already works. And obviously the more people that are spending it, using it, talking about it, then that brings the much wider population into being more knowledgeable about it, I suppose.
I 100% agree, absolutely. And we need to do both avenues.
I think
so
we
we're
all
actively
agree.
partnering with a couple of point-of-sale systems at the moment that allow just direct, basically wallet-to-wallet crypto payments, and the merchant takes the crypto.
So I'm going to put a shameless plug in at this point, because one of the goals of the Crypto Investor Show for London and for Manchester in 2018-2019 is to have a crypto marketplace where you'll be able to buy things in crypto. Now, we're not quite sure how that's going to work yet. We're working on various merchants and different wallets and cards to be there so that we can be demonstrating and people can be actually using their crypto at the show, and hopefully with a number of merchants there to buy from, which will be a first, we think.
Yeah, so the hope is that not only will we have this at the Crypto Investor Show, but that the crypto village itself will take on its own persona, and maybe we'll have a dialogue with established markets in various cities where you might have an area of the market where they've got the crypto village stamp, and you know that you can pay in crypto. It certainly is a something needs to be addressed, and it's not just the process for the consumer, but also for the retailer. And at the moment, earlier on I mentioned this village, and one of the things that drove the idea was I went to get a haircut at my local barber's, and I realized I had no cash, and he only takes cash. And I thought, I wonder if he takes crypto, wouldn't that be great? And when I sort of asked him and told him, he said, actually, I just took Litecoin a couple of weeks ago. And for him, as a smaller retailer, there was I know there is an element of doubt, and Charles sort of touched on this, there's an element of doubt from a consumer. If I pay in crypto, what is the true value? And everything, the volatility is kind of maybe not advantageous. But for early retailers to get involved, the idea of getting involved at the right time and holding some of that crypto, whatever percentage that is, and seeing the benefits. I mean, he was telling me at the time and showing me his Coinbase wallet that his £12 the gentleman paid for a haircut was now worth £51. So, it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But I think we've got one more question we're going to take.
One at the back.
We've got one over
here.
here.
Maybe two questions. So we'll go one just here, and we'll go to Josh.
Well, first, thanks to all the speakers and the organizer for this good time. I'm going to dig maybe a bit into philosophical thoughts there, and I would just like to better your understanding of what's going on here. So I've written the questions in order to make it understandable. So when we look at blockchain, it has enabled the artificial money. Ethereum enables now contracts in this artificial economy. So all this is possible thanks to machines. And IoT systems have now become our oracles that enable these systems. So what do you think about a world where blockchain has enabled the humans working for the machines?
Interesting.
It's an interesting point, but you could argue that may be the case, but I see it more as humans developing technology to better the world for other humans. And that's kind of the entire point of why Zencash exists. We're trying to make the world a better place. And to do that, we require technology, and we require to put machines and IoT devices and applications to work.
It's interesting to think of, though, actually. Sorry to jump in there, Charles, because major blue chip companies invest in R&D. And part of their job is to make sure that their technology is up to date. And so, interestingly, blockchain at the moment is one form, but who knows what form it will be in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So I don't know, again, Charles, I don't know if you know of any particular projects or have had those conversations with people that you've met about R&D and the future of computing, that sort of thing, how it will affect blockchain.
A couple. I mean, there's been a few different situations where there's been new type applications that are there to replace blockchain technology. DAG, that's a big thing that's potentially going to overtake blockchain. That hasn't yet executed anything, prove or not prove that. But working for machines, at the end of the day, humans have to create the machines themselves. I'm sure there'll be a time in the future where that changes and machines can create machines, but isn't something I've put too much thought behind yet.
I've got a question over here. Regarding, can you hear me? Regarding adoption, what do you think about the other side of the problem? I mean, retailers and merchants, they kind of have to advertise the price of their products and services in crypto to be able to enable this connection between consumers and retailers to increase the adoption. What do you believe about that? What do you think about
it's twofold, right? You either have a stable token that represents $1 or £1 or €1 or yen, whatever it may be, or you have the other side where people actually learn what the rates are in the crypto space. But any valuation at the minute that you give on the space is always done in dollars because that's what people understand, right? And that's the way it works at the minute. And maybe there's a future time where that changes, but at the minute you need to have an understanding of what the dollar or pound metric of that is to really appreciate the value of that.
So at the moment it's working on a pegging system.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think the volatility side of the conundrum is the problem right now, because if it got to the point where there wasn't much fluctuation, say Bitcoin does ultimately get adopted by a greater number of users and the big account holders distributed out into the wider community, and you don't get that volatility, then people would be able to think of what 0.1 of a Bitcoin is on a consistent basis. But
Yes.
when it's moving all the time, you can't.
Inconsistency and change are very difficult for people to deal with.
So you need that regulation, I think, of price stability, and then people can maybe think in that. It's like I was thinking about it earlier when I was a kid, we spent Irish pounds and then it changed to euro, and initially you're always pricing the euro in Irish pounds, and then just over time you forget about it. And that's where we need to get to.
Yeah. There's one question at the back. Two more left?
Yeah, just to add into those two last points, quite interestingly actually. So obviously, on the adoption side, just as products and services, my kind of opinion is, being someone that's in this space, and I'm sure hopefully you guys will probably agree, that I think for me there is this transitional period of adoption, and for me my approach is, I believe, and I'd like to think other people in this space, that can stand on stage and talk about this stuff, need to kind of have the attitude of falling on our own sword for a bit. So if someone comes and spends tens of thousands of pounds with me in Bitcoin, I'll take it. And if it's worth 10 quid tomorrow, I'll take it. Yeah. Because I believe in this to the core. And if I can't accept that through my products, then how can I expect anyone to purchase them or develop this technology further? So I think there needs to be, other people, I know Patrick takes crypto for the stands at the shows, for example. There needs to be these leadership companies, I think, that are prepared to kind of take the volatility, because we need to, lead by example, ultimately. So that's one kind of thing I want to pick up on. And then the second thing about research and development was really interesting, the gentleman said, because I know there's a lot of products within the space, mining rigs actually being one of them, where the UK is fantastic for crypto, for R&D tax credits. A lot of customers of mine are larger institutional people that are actually putting this technology through as R&D tax credits, specifically for internal blockchain research and development. So I just kind of wanted to hopefully get the panel's opinion on if
sure.
those two things.
Can you repeat question one again in like a short form, just so I have it in my head?
Just do you believe that other people that represent this space should be prepared to fall on their own sword?
Yeah, I remember. So if you look at any individual entity that accepted cryptocurrency, it's always been a great success, right? Because the market's always been moving up and everyone's done really well with it. The reason why people talk about the potential loss is just to kind of warn people, so you don't have a merchant that comes into the space that doesn't really understand it, that thinks that they're going to accept Bitcoin, they're going to make a huge amount of money out of it, that don't. I think you just need to be cautious of that factor as well, that you're not trying to tell people. But I hear what you're saying, and I absolutely agree that people should accept it and accept that they're in for the long term, and it's not a sprint, it's a marathon at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And question two, anyone?
Repeat question two.
Do you want to repeat question two in short form again?
Sorry, just a case of asking whether or not there's, if the panel has any opinions. So lots of customers buy my products and claim under R&D tax credits. That's something that's available to them. Are there any kind of tangible examples that the panel can give in their world where people are successfully using R&D development available funds in the UK to research this technology?
I mean, for us, it's massively value-add R&D. We have a whole team of analysts at SVK Crypto to look into the space and develop and help teams develop that as well. But I can't really speak for the enterprise side, which really the question is catered for, because that's not something that we really do on a day-to-day basis. But 90% of our team is focused on developing and understanding the technology and the new technology that's happening to make sure we don't miss an opportunity.
So, Marina, are you seeing much in terms of R&D in the sector from the investment point of view as well?
It's very similar situation like here, also because my clients, they already kind of implementing that, so that not necessarily kind of one step before that, which is researching. So, but yes, a lot of work happening in the space.
It's right at the forefront of innovation, right? So there's going to be a fair amount of R&D going on in all respects.
Just one more question over here, and then we're going to wrap up.
Yeah, just
no pressure. You're the final question.
Yeah, closing question. So, what are the 2018 Bitcoin predictions from the panel?
And this is being recorded, guys. Just so you know. So, the world is watching.
So what are we looking for? A prediction on price for
By the end of the year, what, Christmas Day?
2018.
It depends what happens with the ETF.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the kind of big yay or nay for approaching all-time highs or even exceeding all-time highs, or kind of just meandering around where we are, potentially even losing a little bit from where we are just now.
But what's going to happen with the ETF?
It's a big question.
I think it'll be approved. I mean, we've not had a serious contender come in and actually try and lodge paperwork to do it properly. Now we've got a serious contender that has all the right things in place to make it happen. So I think it might take a bit of time, but I think it will happen.
But the announcement's been pushed back to September, right? From
21st of September, yeah.
Oh, you know that? Yeah. What time?
Yeah,
10 o'clock?
don't know, I have it on my phone. But yeah, I think, on a side to that, there was a couple of things that they said when they rejected the previous one that have happened. So they've educated themselves to the point where they've said that Bitcoin and Ethereum are securities. They've launched futures, so they wanted to see some sort of product from that point of view. And they've just had time to see how, everything works. So I think all these things are going to be really considered and push that decision.
You need the institutional capital, which is the word that these two have not used. And the institutional capital get into the market via an ETF, via the custody situation that we're facing that hasn't really been solved yet. That will take the price to the next level where it really needs to go. And regulation as well, so people can trust within it. There's a limited supply in Bitcoin, like we all know, so everything's looking good for it. I can't give an exact dollar figure.
I'm going to push for an answer here. So
I said 36K at the Christmas table.
Wait,
I'll stick to it.
So from the panel,
my birthday. My birthday is on the 31st of December, 90.
He's not lying, but Fiona, I'm going to include you in here because then we have 5 of us, right? So we're going to get an answer. So
can we get an answer from you too, Patrick?
No.
What are we going to do? Are we going to take the average answer?
No. Hands up. Hands up if you think that Bitcoin might reach new highs before the end of the year. Oh, we're going around the room.
Let's see from the audience. Hands up who thinks Bitcoin will reach new highs by the end of the year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Got to be bullish.
All right. And then on the other side, who thinks that we may see potentially 2018 lows before we see that high?
There's one.
It's tricky.
There's a lot of chat, isn't there, within the community, the Telegram group. Obviously, what we see at the moment in our Telegram group are people talking about, okay, well, Bitcoin is on a little bit of a rush again at the moment. Lots of good news coming in at the right sort of time, but they're also suffering. And obviously people are transferring their alt holdings into Bitcoin in the hope of some sort of rush. So from that perspective, again, the market has done this and it's happened, and we've seen that after a bit of cementation, I guess what the right word is there, but solidification, we've had then typically Ethereum, Zencash, Cardano, some of the larger coins sort of going on a similar ride there. But any input, I guess, from yourself, Matthew, from the trading volumes from an eToro perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not privy to the trading volumes on our platform. That'd be kind of concealed information. But I have been looking at it, and my feeling was that as we approach 7,800, you could see that the volumes were looking good just from the exchanges. So it was, but because of the short squeeze, you were thinking, well, are we just in a similar situation as to what we were in April? So I wanted to see 7,800 be cleared, and then a strong close above 8,000, and it's looking like that today. So I think with that happening, there's probably a strong run to 10,000. That's where I think this will get a bit trickier. So if it doesn't break that, then yeah, potentially you could see another strong move down. But I don't know. It felt like it couldn't get any, from our point of view, from talking to clients and even new accounts and things like that. 2 weeks ago, it was dead. It was absolutely dead.
It couldn't get any more boring.
Exactly. And I was taking that as a bullish sign. It was like a contrarian, if it's kind of people have got to the point now where they're fed up of it, they're not even looking at it.
Then we announced this event and Bitcoin has a bit of a...
That's it. Here we are. So,
well, guys,
so far so good, but again, I wouldn't say it's a guarantee, but yeah, we'll see.
Thank you very much, and being a fantastic panel, can you get a show of appreciation. And thank you all for coming out as well and staying late. I saw a few people, their eyes awoke when the Bitcoin price was mentioned a few minutes ago, but thanks for hanging around. And Fiona, a couple of final words. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so thank you to Rowan, to Matt, to Charles, and to Marina for answering all of your questions and to answering ours as well. We do have a couple of questions for you in the audience.
Oh.
So, yeah, do move on down. We will be running more shows like this, and obviously we're also running the show in Manchester in November, and in March we'll be at the QE2 Conference Centre again. So do get in touch with us, and if anyone's got any suggestions for us that they'd like to tell us about here, do come and Patrick or myself.
Unusual for the space, so give us a call and get in touch, and we're trying to cater to you guys, so thank you very much.
I'd love to hear what you want.
Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma. Lelo, lelo. Y si bailamos pegados, la vida no será la misma, no, 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 no. Te quiero a mi lado el resto de mi vida. Por siempre prometo hacerte muy feliz. Contigo me quedo el resto de mi vida. Te pido la mano bajo el cielo de París. Bajo el cielo de París. Dicen que el mundo deja de girar por un momento cuando te enamoras. Dicen que el viento deja de soplar por un segundo cuando te enamoras. Si no quedamos callados, la vida siempre será la misma.